Geometry Dash is a difficult game. Even some of the earliest levels are fucking brutal. You may scoff at that with your 10,000 hours logged into this game, but think back to the first time you played Can't Let Go for a second.
Hello guys, my name is Eric Van Spank Me.
I mean, look how many clips he has on his face.
Do I look sexy, by the way?
It's such a hard game that it can get frustrating very easily. Geometry Dash players are fucking insane, because they either derive enjoyment out of bashing their skull into a wall for thousands of attempts, or they do it despite not having any fun at all.
Are you kidding me?
It makes the discussion about difficulty in this game tricky, since emotions do run high when playing this game. It's got some of the highest highs, but also some of the lowest lows.
Oh! No! I've been trying this for so long, are you kidding me? What the fuck?
A level needs to be difficult for the right reasons. Difficulty balancing is a common point of discussion, often cited as a reason why certain levels suck ass. Dynamic on Track is a pretty infamous example of this. Well, before it got updated anyway. Or Square Adventure, where the creator made the first half easy and the second half harder on purpose, because they probably didn't know any better that this is kind of bad design choice, which created a very frustrating experience for most people, especially newcomers. Oh man, these comments. Oh geez, that's brutal. The term balancing is kind of misleading in a way, because it kind of implies that the difficulty in a level always needs to be a flat plane. Ideally, the level will be the exact same difficulty all the way through, but that's obviously wrong, right? Left. Take electrodynamics, my beloved. If we were to draw out a difficulty curve for this level, it would probably look something like this. The beginning is fairly difficult, the middle is pretty easy, and the ending is easily the hardest part. Some people take this to mean that the balancing in this level is really bad, and that is a complaint I sometimes hear about the level, but I disagree. Let me offer you an alternative viewpoint. So, the climax of electrodynamics is at the end of the level. The triple speed section where your ship swerves up and down to the song is iconic for this level. It's what defines its identity. The song and the gameplay alike are at their maximum intensity here, so I think it makes sense that this part is the hardest of the entire level. I don't think that take is very controversial, but what about the middle section? Wouldn't it be better if it offered a little bit more challenge? Isn't it boring to have to slog through this part every time you want to try the ending again? I don't think so. I think this middle section of the level fulfills a critical role in electrodynamics. It builds suspense. It's not like it's an auto part you still have to play. You've already passed some tricky sections in the beginning, but while you're focusing, in the back of your mind you know that the hardest part is still coming up. It plays on your nerves. Your palms will get sweaty and you keep thinking about that upcoming ship part you've died to so many times already. It creates a high stakes, stressful experience as you desperately try to get your ship under control, which translates in such a rewarding payoff. Electrodynamics is infamous for its difficulty, but it's not even a demon level. And if you really look closely at the level, it's really not nearly as hard as the Rob Top Demons, even though there have been calls to re-rate it as a demon level. And I think that's because people experienced this stress and mistook it for difficulty. The level successfully made them feel like they were overcoming one hell of a challenge. And I think that's awesome. This level feels awesome to play. The gameplay on its own is already exceptional, but the difficulty balancing only works in service of that. Sincerely, Electrodynamics is a masterpiece, but it can also work the other way. A while ago I watched Krone's retrospective on Sunset Sandstorm, and in it he mentions how he made the beginning of the level more difficult on purpose because it gives the later parts more tension and impact. There's a lot riding on every single attempt you make it that far, which is kind of the inverse effect of Electrodynamics, and I think that's super valid. You should watch Krone's video too, by the way. It offers some interesting insight in the creating process behind Sunset Sandstorm. Okay, but couldn't you say this about any level? What about, say, the Janus Miracle? This level is a medium demon that has one ship part that single-handedly elevates it to an insane demon. That creates suspense, right? Well, maybe, but I would argue that the Janus Miracle doesn't earn its difficulty spike. For one, the level looks like garbage. But more importantly for this discussion, it plays like garbage too. Even in a vacuum, this ship part just sucks ass. On top of that, the difficulty spike in this level is way too extreme to be effective. It doesn't really create suspense when the difficulty ramps up this obscenely. It creates frustration in the best case, or apathy in the worst. Lastly, but certainly not leastly, difficulty imbalance can supplement the narrative or general theming of a level. One example of this is Still Life by Empika. The level starts off fairly easy, where you traverse a grassy plain, a bridge, and the sky in an adventure to a spooky wizard tower in the distance. When you get to the tower, the difficulty goes up considerably, but this makes sense, right? It wouldn't make much sense at all if crossing a wide open grassy plain was equally treacherous as climbing a wizard tower. The difficulty imbalance makes thematic sense here. Another example of this is Save Ass by Puck. This level doesn't look very hard, and it starts off simple enough, but the later parts are deceptively difficult. It becomes increasingly buggy and inconsistent. The level becomes increasingly hostile towards the player, and that all serves a narrative purpose here, which I think is really cool. So yeah, levels don't have to be the same difficulty all the way through. There are several reasons you'd want to play around with the difficulty balancing in your level. That's not to say it's always justified, but it's something to keep in mind. So yeah, kind of a shorter video this time, but I think that covers pretty much everything I wanted to say. I'm working on a pretty big video in the meantime though, so look out for that. By which I mean subscribe, thank you. We're getting pretty close to 10,000, so that would be pretty cool. Anyway, see you later.